Okay, welcome back. This next segment is going to make us hungry, but let's delve in. It's called Let's Do Dinner, and it celebrates the simple act of gathering around a table, enjoying good food, drinks, and engaging in meaningful conversations. And so with the saturation of smartphones and the popularity of social media apps, some etiquette of course, have loosened, but Stella Artois' dinner event celebrates the power of human connection. And to chat a little bit more on the gathering, we're going to be joined virtually by spoken word artist and social entrepreneur Puno Selesho and founder of the Connect Supper Club, Nirvana Nokwe-Mseleku. Good morning to the both of you.
Thank you
So for joining us.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful concept, and I'm sure the uptake has been welcomed, just given, as you mentioned, the era of social media, but perhaps also having a space to disconnect and then reconnect on a different level. Back to basics of sorts. Talk us through how this would have come about, but also just aligning the different people that are invited to be part of the dinner club.
Of course. So the Connect Supper Club started, in my experience, at Proud Mary and Mama Samba. I would really just, engage with so many different people from so many walks of life, and it really was a home. And I noticed how much environment is such a pivotal part, and tone is such a pivotal part in forging meaningful connections. And so I also have a long history of people who were activists and politicians as well as artists in South Africa. And, in their home, they gathered with so many different people to convene on things that matter to humanity. So, I think I'm carrying the baton of my family and the baton of South Africa in forging more environments that are safe and intentional regarding connection and really, making people realize their value.
Before we bring Puno into the conversation,
yes.
I wonder how you structure the environment, because we're advised not to speak about religion and politics. I'm assuming you double there. So talk to us about the structure and the do's and don'ts.
Well, I think, if anything, we try to get to the core of issues. And so, politics is a very broad statement, but it speaks to the human condition of people and how that's governed. And so, and with regards to religion, it speaks to faith and what people believe in and what drives people to, wake up in the morning. So I would say we just get to really integral conversations and questions like, how do you wish to be honored, is a question that we ask within the networking format. And I'm so excited because it's such a great alignment with Stella Artois and their Let's Do Dinner, which has a fascinating array of people who do so many innovative things.
Well, it requires us then to bring our whole selves too and know ourselves as well.
Yes.
Puno, let me bring you into the conversation. Good morning, and thank you for also joining us bright and early. Spoken word, perhaps also being a social entrepreneur. Talk to us about, how you are intentional about the messaging, perhaps also the art of intimacy and connection and vulnerability that comes through in your work as large.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me this morning, Liesl. I'm like 2 cups of coffee in. For me, the writing about exactly what was mentioned, the human condition, is so important. I think we think of transformation as a big, broad thing. Sometimes it's a scary word for people, but I think it's about the inner transformation first. If we can get our heart alignment, our mental health, our soul health, if we can, like you said, bring our whole selves into moments, into places, I think that's how we can shape our worlds, our environments, our countries, our continents to become the spaces of excellence that we want them to be. But it has to start inside. And my poetry, because it goes beyond the barriers of just intellectual art, it really tugs on heartstrings, and it really tugs at emotional sort of roots and strings and goes deep into stories and narratives. I think that's the way we can really heal our souls, heal our hearts, ignite beauty and imagination again, so that we can go out there and be the best versions of ourselves to create again this country and this continent to be the hub of excellence that we want.
Puno, it's important to be aware of the stories we're telling, the narratives associated, that often also informs the reality at large as well, and our outlook. And your work looks at resilience, it looks at hope, community, fostering that connection as well. Talk to us about the feedback that you've received from those who've interacted with you. I think I'd like to also then look at beyond spoken word. How has it also inspired change?
100%. I think resilience is very difficult to foster when you're alone. And that's why I really love this concept that Stella Artois has done to say, let's do dinner. Let's come together. It's almost like coming together to a watering hole and refueling ourselves, because it's in those communal spaces where we garner strength. And I think people have felt that. Usually when we connect around art, when we connect around the table to break bread, there's almost something so soul fueling that it gives you energy, it gives you strength, it gives you resilience to face whatever life is going to throw at you, because life being hard is a non-negotiable. That is just going to happen. But we need to continuously remain in these circles of connection. We need to come together constantly, come back to the watering hole, you go back, do what you got to do, but return to the safe space, return to the place where we can engage with one another.
Well, I am because you are, right? That's obviously how we exist and thrive. Nirvana, I want to bring you back into the conversation. I just want to pick up from Puno, because you're bringing a lot of influential people together, and you're speaking about important topics and themes and ideas that are going to impact society. I mean, that's how culture is also formed. How has change been inspired and action as well? So beyond the talk, we seem to be great talkers in South Africa.
Yes, we are.
How are we going to act? Where's that will?
I think that's such a great question. So what we do within our networking format is make sure that the people that align together are able to influence each other within their businesses as well.
Gotcha.
Another common thing that us and the community have spoken about is a chamber of commerce, really coming together to figure out what our societal problems are and collaborating with different sectors of South Africa to see how we can come in a harmonious way to solve these problems and an interdisciplinary way, because I do feel like an artist could contribute to business. Absolutely. And I think it's about really acknowledging and igniting that spirit of Ubuntu and recognizing the value of people and what their personal experiences can do to change and shift the tone of our country.
Gastroeconomics is definitely in this equation, because that's the food. I mean, I want to know about that. That's also bringing people together. So how intentional are you about the dishes that are served? And perhaps that's also a way to start the conversation, looking at culture, heritage, and tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say I'm not too involved with the food. I give all the praise to Mama Samba, and they have such a beautiful set menu for us. But we are quite intentional about taste, because that matters in the experience.
How often do these also happen?
So
the time, we're in the economic hub. I mean, time is a scarce commodity.
Yes, of course. So the first 3 dinners the last one is happening on the 4th of December, which is a Wednesday. And then hopefully next year, every single month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Puno, I know you're also online. I want to look at your creativity and what's happening in society, perhaps even 30 years into our democracy, navigating the next 30 years. What gives you hope? What also breaks your heart? How are you going to use that duality to bring forth more of your works?
So creativity, I believe, and the arts are one of the most powerful tools that we have. I think I once did a talk overseas that was about the fact that one of our greatest commodities to export as Africans is our storytelling capabilities, is our creativity. Way back when, before even colonialism, it was our minerals and our resources. That's what was taken from us. But now we take our power back to say, actually, our people are our greatest resource, and packaged in art and creativity. That's really how we can impact and change things in our narratives. And I think what breaks my heart is seeing artists and creatives almost being forced to pursue fame over impact, to pursue the glitz and the glamour over truly making a change in society. I want to ask the artists, is the world made a better place after you've said something, after you've performed, after you've sung a song? Is that truly why you started? If not, if we're still just chasing the social media likes, if we're still just chasing, influencers, sort of brand collaborations, and not places and spaces like what we're going to be doing with Stella Artois that genuinely foster harmony, genuinely foster coming together, then we really have a problem. But I do think arts and creativity brings out a vulnerability in people. And I think when we gather in spaces like this, if we're not vulnerable, if we're not brave, nothing's really going to change. nothing will lead to action. And I think creativity almost does that. If we all know the same song, if we're all shedding a little bit of a tear, then we're coming together, we're connecting with our humanity. I'm quite excited for that.
Puno and Nirvana, thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to have to leave this conversation here, but the conversation continues. Social entrepreneur, spoken word artist Puno Selesho and founder of Connect Supper Club, Nirvana Nokwe-Mseleku, of course, joining us this morning. Both entrepreneurs creating impact through meaningful business ventures, conversations, and of course, good food.